All right, so we're diving into these articles you sent about Trump's win in 2024.
Yeah.
And wow, landslide is really the word for it, huh?
It is, yeah, a political earthquake for sure.
I mean, the Washington Post, the Financial Times, everyone's trying to unpack this.
Everyone.
I know I'm still processing it, to be honest.
Well, it was certainly
Like how,
yeah, how did this happen?
yeah,
The polls were so off. I mean, not just a little off, dramatically wrong.
right.
Trump swept all 7 swing states.
Yeah,
He even improved on his 2020 performance in most counties.
it's wild.
We haven't seen a Republican candidate dominate like this in decades.
So where do we even begin with this? I mean, what does this
Yeah.
even say about where we are right now?
Well, let's start with the economy. You know, despite the Biden-Harris administration touting Bidenomics,
Right.
it seems voters just weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there were some positive indicators, but inflation and the cost of living,
Those were hitting people hard.
They-
And that's where I feel like Trump's messaging really worked. You know,
yeah,
it's time for change.
simple but
Simple but powerful.
powerful, yeah.
Especially when you compare it to, like, Biden trying to reassure everyone
Right.
and Harris struggling to present a real alternative.
Exactly. It seems like voters were looking for someone to acknowledge their struggles, not just offer more of the same.
Or of the same.
Right.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into this status quo fatigue, right?
Yeah. The second factor, I think.
People were tired of the establishment, and fairly or not, Harris was seen as an extension of that.
Right. Even though she was supposed to be a fresh
A
start.
fresh start, exactly.
Didn't quite work out that way.
I'm remembering that David Axelrod quote, the former Obama strategist.
Yeah.
He said Harris faced tremendous headwinds, not just from low favorability ratings,
Right.
but from this feeling that we were on the wrong track as a country.
Which, you know,
Yeah.
Trump's campaign was very good at tying her to Biden. And while Biden wasn't exactly Mr. Popularity at that point,
Nope.
so it painted her as more of the same.
And that's not what people wanted.
Not at all.
And speaking of Biden, I mean, his late exit from the race probably didn't help.
Oh, for sure. That was
That whole handover to Harris just felt rushed.
Yeah.
Maybe it contributed to a sense that the Democrats weren't unified.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know,
Yeah.
Trump ran a tight ship.
Like a well-oiled machine.
While Democrats seemed to be, you know, playing catch-up the whole time.
Didn't catch up.
And remember David Plouffe, one of Harris's top advisors,
I agree.
that now deleted post of his, he seemed to be hinting that Biden staying in the race as long as he did really hurt Harris.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay, so we've got economic anxiety, desire for change, and some missteps from the Democrats. But one thing that really struck me in these articles was the focus on class.
Class, yeah.
It seems like this wasn't just about race,
Yeah.
but about class, especially working class voters.
Absolutely. Trump saw significant gains with working class voters, especially those without a college degree.
Huge gains.
The data shows he won 64% of them.
It makes you wonder if the whole...
And what's interesting is that this went beyond racial lines.
That's what I found fascinating.
Yeah.
Trump's support among working class Latino and Black men actually went up.
Up, yeah.
55% of Latino men and 21% of Black men.
Wow. Yeah, those numbers.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah, they challenged the conventional wisdom.
About voting blocks.
About voting blocks, yeah.
It suggests that economic anxieties
Yeah.
and this feeling of being left behind by the establishment resonated across racial lines.
It really did.
So it's not just about identity politics anymore.
It seems that way, yeah.
Interesting.
Trump really tapped into that sense of alienation among working class voters.
Who felt ignored
Ignored by both parties.
and disillusioned with the status quo.
Disillusioned, yeah.
Now, to really get a handle on this, we need to zoom out a bit and look at what's happening globally.
Globally, yeah.
These articles you sent point out that incumbents have been losing all over the world.
They have.
France, the UK, Japan.
It's a trend.
It seems like it's a real trend.
It does, doesn't it?
It suggests a global wave of dissatisfaction with the establishment and a yearning for something different.
Absolutely.
And Trump, even though he's a familiar face, really played up that outsider image
Yeah.
that drained the swamp
Yeah.
rhetoric. Clearly worked with voters who were looking for someone to shake things up.
He presented himself as the ultimate disruptor.
Yeah.
And in a time of global uncertainty, you know, that
Yeah.
message really appealed to a lot of people.
Okay, so we've got economic worries, the desire for change, Biden's missteps, and this class divide,
Right.
all happening against this backdrop of global anti-establishment sentiment.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's complex.
It is.
But there's another layer to this that we need to explore.
There is.
Like to really understand this.
And it might be the most significant factor of all.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so we talked about economic anxieties, the yearning for change. But the fifth factor, the one that really ties all of this together, is social media.
Social media.
Like this is how we're engaging in politics now, with each other.
You mean how everyone's glued to their phones, doom scrolling through news feeds and arguing with strangers?
Exactly. Social media has created these echo chambers.
Echo chambers, yeah.
Where people only see information that reinforces what they already believe.
It makes it so hard to have real conversations.
It does, across those ideological divides.
So it's not just that people are getting their news from social media.
Right.
But the way these algorithms work is actually making us more polarized.
Yeah, that's a key insight from these articles. These algorithms are designed to keep us engaged and outraged.
Yeah. Outrage gets clicks.
It does. Outrage is a powerful tool. So we're constantly being fed content that makes us angry or anxious.
And it makes it harder to see the nuances of complex issues.
Much harder.
I'm starting to see how this connects to Trump.
Yeah.
He's a master of social media.
He was, absolutely.
He understood how to use it to bypass the traditional gatekeepers. Connect directly with voters.
Often through inflammatory rhetoric that tapped into
all that anger and resentment.
Yeah, all those feelings we were just talking about.
So instead of relying on traditional media to shape the narrative,
right,
he controlled his own message.
He did.
And had a direct line to his base.
Exactly. And because these algorithms,
yeah,
they tend to reward the most extreme content.
The most extreme stuff rises to the top.
It creates this feedback loop where the most divisive voices get amplified.
And it deepens the political divides
even more. Yeah.
It's like we're all trapped in filter bubbles.
Filter bubbles, yeah.
Only seeing what the algorithm wants us to see.
It's tough, and it's not just the algorithms, right?
Right.
Social media makes it so easy to spread misinformation.
Disinformation, yeah.
Which further erodes trust in institutions.
And then we don't even know what to believe.
Makes it tough to have that shared understanding of reality.
Okay, so social media is this powerful force shaping the political landscape, making us more polarized and vulnerable to manipulation.
It is.
That's kind of scary.
It's a challenge, but it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
There are things we can do.
Okay, like what? Give me some hope here.
All right. Well, for starters,
yeah,
we need to be more aware of how these algorithms work.
Okay.
And how they're influencing our thinking.
I'm more aware.
We need to be critical consumers of information.
Critical, right?
Fact check what we see online.
Fact check. Good advice.
And seek out diverse perspectives.
Diverse perspectives.
So basically, don't just believe everything you see on your feed.
Right. Don't just take it at face value.
Exactly. We need to be more discerning, more thoughtful.
About what we're consuming.
About the information we consume, yeah.
Okay, so be more discerning, more thoughtful about what we're consuming.
About the information we consume, yeah.
Okay, so be more discerning, be more thoughtful, fact check.
And we need to talk to each other more. Have more conversations with people who hold different views.
That's easier said than done these days.
Oh, I know.
But I get it.
No.
We need to break out of our echo chambers.
Yes.
Engage with the world in a more nuanced way.
Precisely. And that brings us back to this deep dive.
Okay, back to the deep dive.
What's resonating with you the most from all this?
What's resonating with me? I think it's that feeling that we're in uncharted waters here.
We are.
We're grappling with these forces that are reshaping how we do politics.
They're powerful forces.
In ways we're only beginning to understand.
Yeah, and that raises a crucial question.
Which is?
What does this mean for the future?
What does this mean for the future?
For American politics, for our democracy.
Big questions.
They are big questions, and the answer is...
Don't leave me hanging.
It depends. It depends on what we do next.
So we've got these 5 factors, right?
Yeah.
Economic anxieties, the desire for change, Biden's missteps, the class divide.
Right.
And this whole social media thing looming over everything.
It's a lot.
It really is. It's complex.
It is.
So where do we even go from here?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This isn't just about one election. This is about how we engage with politics, with each other. I mean, we're seeing this deep disillusionment.
With institutions, yeah.
With institutions. Like, the system isn't working.
And social media, it feels like it's both a symptom and a cause of all this.
It is, yeah.
It's amplifying those anxieties, making it harder to just talk to each other.
It is, yeah. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Totally.
Connects people, but isolates them at the same time.
Echo chambers, yeah.
Gives a voice to the voiceless, but can also be used to spread misinformation.
So what do we do? How do we deal with this?
That's the question.
I mean, both parties are kind of facing a reckoning here.
They are.
The Democrats are trying to figure out how to reconnect with voters,
Yeah.
and the Republicans, well, they've got Trump back.
Yeah, so the Democrats need to offer solutions
Okay, solution
that address those economic concerns, that feeling of being left behind.
for sure.
They need to go beyond identity politics, articulate a vision that connects with more people.
And the Republicans.
Well,
What do they need to do?
they need to figure out how to govern
Govern, yeah.
in this new reality, how to bridge those divides.
The divides in their own party and in the country.
Exactly. Trump may have won on an anti-establishment platform,
Yeah.
but governing takes more than just railing against the system.
Right, they have to actually do something.
They have to find a way to channel that energy, that anger.
Something constructive.
Yeah, into constructive action.
It feels like both parties need a total reboot.
I think they do.
Figure out how to appeal to voters who just don't trust institutions anymore and who are hungry for something real, something authentic.
Yeah,
And this is bigger than just parties, right?
it is.
This is about our democracy, about how we function as a society.
It's about how we rebuild trust,
Okay.
how we talk to each other.
Have those hard conversations.
Yeah, even when we disagree.
We talked about being more critical of information, but how do we do that when it feels like we're drowning in misinformation?
Well, it starts with ourselves, with recognizing our own biases.
Okay. Our
Understanding how those biases can be used against us.
being used, yeah.
We need to be willing to challenge our own assumptions,
Challenge our assumptions.
seek out different perspectives,
Different perspectives, got it.
and engage in good faith debate.
It's good of faith.
It's a lot of we need to.
I know, it feels overwhelming.
It does.
So where do we even begin?
It starts with each of us
Okay, with us.
being more mindful of how we consume information, how we interact online,
Okay.
how we engage in politics.
So how we treat each other, basically.
Exactly. This election exposed those cracks in our society.
Cracks, yeah.
Anxieties about the future, the feeling that the American dream is out of reach.
It is.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
And those are issues that go way beyond just Democrats and Republicans.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
The choices we make now,
Yeah, the choices we make now matter.
they'll determine what kind of country we become.
That's a powerful way to put it.
And that's why it's so important to stay engaged, right?
It is.
Keep asking these questions
Ask the tough question.
and try to understand.
Keep learning. Keep seeking understanding.
This deep dive has been so insightful.
Good, I'm glad.
We've unpacked these 5 factors
5 big ones.
that led to Trump's win.
Yeah,
But it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
we have.
What does this mean for the future of our politics? For our democracy?
Those are the questions we need to keep asking.
Big questions.
And the answers are complex.
Yeah, no easy answers.
They hinge on the choices we make, the actions we take, the conversations we're willing to have.
So where does that leave us?
It leaves us with uncertainty, but also possibility.
Uncertainty and possibility.
We're in uncharted waters,
We are.
but that means we can chart a new course.
Chart a new course, okay.
The future isn't set in stone.
Right.
It's up to us to shape it.
This has been a lot to take in, but in a good way.
Good.
It's given me a lot to think about.
That's what we hoped for.
It's raised a lot of questions.
That's the point of this deep dive, right? It's just the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning.
We hope you'll keep exploring these issues, dig deeper into those articles you sent.
Keep asking those tough questions.
Exactly.
And remember, this isn't just about understanding the past.
It's about building the future.
What kind of future do you want?
What kind of future do you want?
And how can you use your voice, your actions, to make that future a reality?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's giving you some food for thought.
Definitely.
And inspired you to keep exploring these issues. They're complex.
They are.
But they're crucial.
They are. Thanks again.
Thanks.